One of the reasons that divorce is happening a lot in Muslim community, as we speak in Australia, you know who? They are the in-laws. Subhanallah. A lot of people might say, how is this possible? Wallahi. Why? And I'll tell you the reason. Most of the in-laws of today are people that migrated from overseas. They're not people, majority of them until today, are those people that came from overseas, and the bride that they get for their son, or the son-in-law that they get for their daughter, is someone who is born and who is raised here. So you see the clash of culture and mentality here? And I see that when they get the bride at home, they expect from her to do everything for the in-laws, and it's not just for them, but also for all the guests that come to visit them. So her relationship with her son is based how she serves the in-laws and how she serves the guests that are coming in that house. And I'll tell you one thing. I always say to the parents, and I always say to the newlywed couples, live on your own. Because that is the only way you can grow together. When you live, and I'm sorry to say this, especially if the in-laws are still young and they're able to look after themselves, let the young ones live on their own. Because there's no privacy for them. One of the reasons when I go meet a lot of couples, you know, or children when they get married, one of the reasons that they mention to me why they have issues, and that can lead to divorce, is because there is no privacy. And especially where the in-laws live, you know, in our culture, and I'm sure in many of your cultures as well, you know how many guests come in and out every single day? Every single day, in and out, in and out, in and out. And sometimes, if she is covered, if she's got hijab, you know, she's in that environment that she's not allowed to take the hijab off ever. Because there are a lot of people, so before that son, before he gets married, he has to make sure that she's got her own privacy. That daughter that you're getting, someone's daughter, the bride and your wife that you're getting, you have to make sure that she's got enough privacy. That's number one. Number two, this is a very common one, the conflict between the mother-in-law and the daughter-in-law. I have seen this a lot, especially people, these young ones that have issues nowadays. Wallahi, this is sometimes, I haven't experienced this myself, but I see in a lot of mothers, they get jealous of their daughters-in-law because until that moment, that was mommy's boy. And you know, she wasn't sharing the boy with anyone. Now, when she sees that the bride, the wife of her son, loves her son more, she gets jealous. And when she gets jealous, some of them go even beyond that. Instead of being happy that your son is loved, they go and abuse, their daughters-in-law. And they say things and they do things, and sometimes I see a lot of the young generation, they are between parents and the wife. This is the most difficult position to be in, my dear brothers and sisters. Why? Because in one hand, they're your parents. You have to respect them. On the other hand, your wife is your amana. It's not your parents' amana, trust. It's no one else's trust, it's yours. And you are responsible for her. You have to be careful how you treat her. And sometimes he goes to work and his parents abuse her. And when he comes home, the parents are the best towards her. Come, my daughter. And then when the wife complains to her husband, to the son, he said, why you're lying? I can see my parents calling you my daughter. But that is only when he's present. But when he's at work, they are completely two different people. Subhanallah. And the son is in that position that who is going to believe now? Is it his parents or his wife? And that's why, to eliminate any of these reasons to lead to divorce, if you're young as a father and as a mother, let your children live on their own, because that is the time when they learn each other's ways. That is the time, this is the most crucial time for them to learn from one another. And if there are many people present and they interfere, if there is any disagreement, or if the wife screams at the husband and the husband at the wife, the whole house hears because people are living there, this does not help the situation whatsoever. So the in-laws are one of the main reasons why the young ones are getting divorced, unfortunately. And I'm very blunt, and I mention how it is, and I don't want anyone to take it personal, but this is my experience with people for almost 13 years in this country. And people call me every single day that they have issues, either with in-laws or, from the husband's side or from the wife's side or from this, from that, subhanAllah. So in order for us to eliminate, because we have raised our children properly, we want them to be happy. And if you want them to be happy, let them live on their own. Let them have their privacy. Don't interfere, especially in the first few years. That is very important. So this is